3, 2, 1, live. It's election day, and this is Ernie with the Trader of Futures. How you doing, friends? It's an exciting day. I voted, and I got this wonderful little sticker here. How did I vote? I voted to keep this economy going, to keep the most incredible bullish run, the most incredible jobs situation, the most incredible resurgence of American dominance ever in the history of the United States of America. That's how I voted. You may not agree, but you would be wrong, because facts don't lie. The media does, however. The media lies through their teeth. They are, without a doubt, the biggest bunch of scumbags, not all of them, a select few, that really tarnish it for the rest. But the media is predominantly fake news. I was on a super secret mission last week that exploited that fake news. Unbelievable. And there'll be a lot more. And soon enough, you will understand exactly what I'm involved with in hacking the media, exposing them for what they are. They lie. They lie. They are not journalists. They do not report the facts. They make up the facts at every opportunity. Every opportunity. There's virtually no story that you can see being reported, unless, you know, they have a camera on something and they have it on there full time and you can see it for yourself. Other than that, and even then, the slant that will come from the commentators, the analysis, everything will be totally fake. And it's unfortunate because they have become the number one enemy of America. And I don't know if this YouTube video will get taken down. It can't get restricted because I don't monetize any of my videos. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but none of my videos are ever monetized. And it's probably one of the reasons why I've had such slow growth since my channel was deleted. Because I am not complicit. I do not subject. I do not take anything. Not that it's much to take, but when you do monetize, you do get into a different category, a different part of the algorithm that certainly will benefit you because, you know, YouTube wants it to get out there. But I do not advertise. I advertise. I advertise my own crap. I say crap in a lovingly way. I do not monetize. Anyways, that's it for the politics. I mean, how can you go on election day and not mention something like that? That's the way it goes. If you like this live stream, click like right now, please. I would really appreciate it. Today is election day. There are a lot of things at stake today. The Senate, I don't think, is in jeopardy or the Republicans are not in jeopardy of losing the Senate. In fact, they may pick up a few seats. Because of redistricting and other factors, and because it's a midterm, the natural progression of things, there's a good chance that many of the seats will turn over in the House. That's in Congress. But I don't believe that they will switch hands. It will not switch hands from the Republicans to the Democrats. I think they will maintain at least a few seats. And the reason why I say this, and really against all the polling, is because the polling's wrong. Because the polling is largely controlled by the media. And they're always wrong. There is a natural bias or slant or oversampling of virtually all major polls to the Democrat side. That's a fact. There is one poll that was put out there that I tend to believe, although it probably does not suggest as much of a division as there actually is, and that is the difference between what people on the left will declare who they're voting for versus the people on the right who will declare who they're voting for. They actually did a poll again of this. Who will it actually admit who they're going to vote for on the left versus the right? And people on the left have a much greater propensity to admit, who they're going to vote for. Of course, they're voting for people on the left, where the right does not. And it was a stark difference. So in other words, when pollsters call, and this is a factor that I think most of the media chose to ignore or simply didn't understand, that when the 2016 election came along and the pollsters were polling people, and then they were asking people who they were likely to vote for, people on the left were much more open to telling them who they're gonna vote for, where people on the right tended not to, and even independents tended not to. And that was the big surprise, because there was this latent, hidden red tide out there that simply didn't want to reveal their hand. And I don't see how that has changed even today. So I think that given that polls are already oversampled on the left, and that the left tends to be more truthful, if you can call it that, on who they intend to vote for than the right, or the right has nothing to do with truth, has to do with declaration, more likely to declare, then I would say that the polls themselves are highly suspect. Now, the purpose of this particular this video is to talk about trades that are good during election time, or how will the election affect trades. Now, beforehand, this is the way I believe that the market will be affected by what is largely considered a discounting mechanism, the market. The market will react based on how it believes where the market is going. The market today is up. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, there was a fantastic jobs report on Friday, spectacular jobs report that in no way can be interpreted other than phenomenal growth. And so that has something to do with it. Then there is the overall sentiment of people who are investing, whether or not they believe this market is going to continue. And I believe that they would equate that with keeping the current administration in power and being able to continue to enact their policies of lower taxes, lower regulation, pro-business, protecting our borders. Also, on the healthcare front too, they've said that protecting pre-existing conditions, but not going much beyond that. Personal responsibility, all those things that are conservative values, I think, are on a high, and there is an anticipation in the market that is where we're going. And so the market is, I think, that great discounting mechanism is anticipating that none of that will be upended, that it will continue. It'll continue in a fantastic way. So the market is up now, reflecting, I believe that. Now, tomorrow, it's likely, regardless of which way the market goes, I would say that it's probably going to pull back a little. I think that if the Democrats take over the House, then I think it will pull back dramatically. I think if the Republicans maintain control, then I think it will pull back a little bit. Of course, regardless of which way it goes, you won't be able to test, only just half of my theory, because the other half will be fantasy. But if my theory is correct and it does behave the way it is, then you can probably assume that had the other situation happened, it probably would have worked out that way. I guess. I don't know if that's too much speculation for you. Dr. Zayas asks, did your wife vote opposite me? For most things, probably. We are on polar opposites in terms of our politics. That's why we don't talk about politics. But for some of the referendum questions in our local area, we're probably spot on those. Thanks, Chris, for clicking the like. Yeah, my own crap. So with regards to my own crap, the AI, the embodiment, that is our artificial intelligence trade setup service, which is going fantastic, having a very good day. Today we closed on we didn't close on it, but the heating oil futures contract trade, a fantastic short, hit its target today. And had you got in it anywhere near the entry and got out at the target, you would have made a lot of money. Probably enough money to pay for this service for more than a year, maybe 2 years. Probably something like that. That's just one trade. We're also in natural gas, and it's very early in the trade. It is up, and the target is way far away from where it is, but it's still already made some good profit. We're looking at soybean oil as one of our other trades. We have two stock trades today. There are setups, but neither has triggered yet. One is with Apple, the other is with Amazon. So we're going to be oh, excuse me. I don't know what happened there. So we'll be watching those to see if those set up. So the way the AI works, the way the AI, the embodiment, the trade setup service works, it's pretty simple. The system has been trained with literally hundreds and hundreds of different patterns and strategies and conditions. And then using that, and also with its algorithm, detects or discovers other algorithms and then combinations of patterns. And so it has the ability to put together these unique strategies. And virtually every setup that is put out there is, in fact, another unique strategy, which is kind of interesting. So that is kind of all built on our bigger philosophy that multiple non-correlated strategies are really the holy grail in trading. And it provides natural risk management without setting stops. And it reduces drawdowns, provides a much smoother equity curve. I mean, those are the big benefits of it. But the AI doesn't know anything about that. It just spits them out and does its job, and does its job fairly well. Not fairly well. It does its job spectacularly. It's freaking awesome. If you want to join, go to my website, traderoffutures.com. It's $99 a month. There's also, I would recommend taking the training, which I'll hold on Saturdays. And that gives you an overview of the AI, futures, the stocks and options, and how that's all set up. And it will also include an on-demand thing. And you also get access to our private Discord channel on our major Discord. It's called AI Setups. And there we talk about each individual trade. We share notes, support one another. It's really a cool thing. Adam says, I'm from Canada. What exactly are you voting for in midterms? We don't have that here. We're voting for congressional and Senate seats. So the Senate, people who are in the Senate have a term of 6 years. People who are in Congress have a term of 2 years. There are 100 senators, and there are, I don't know, 400 and something Congress people. The Congress people are more representative of the population and how it's distributed within each state. So each state has a variable number of Congress people. But in the Senate, they are more, I don't know how to explain this, but probably the best way to say it is that they are more, they play more of an advisory role, senior advisory role. And so and bills are required when they go through the Congress and the Senate. By having a more representative body and then another body that is less representative, in other words, it is more equal across the board, every state therefore has a say, an equal say. So bills can make their way through based on population and representative population. And then overall, each state has their own way. That's why there's only 2 senators per state. Anyway, senators have a 6-year term. Congress people have a 2-year term. And so right now, it is on one of those years where we can vote for both senators and Congress, or senators and Congress people. So midterm elections are halfway between our presidential elections. Presidential elections happen every 4 years. These elections happen every 2. Hopefully that explains everything. It should be noted that a very low unemployment rate is a sign of the end of the cycle. No, not really. It can stay low for a long, long time, very long time. The only chance is that people who come out of the unemployment statistics come back, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's not the only chance, but that is the dynamic that's happening right now. The unenrolled worker is starting to diminish, where prior to President Trump, during the Obama administration, it bloated to its greatest size. The unenrolled voter, the unenrolled worker, the person who gave up on looking for jobs, was at its largest during the last administration. Now, with this expanding economy, those people that could basically gave up on looking for work are now finding new work. And now there are new jobs. There are more jobs now than there are people looking for work. And so those unenrolled people are now starting to come back into the economy, and that's going to expand the economy. Expand, just keep on expanding. Mr. Trad, voting to end feminism and homoism. I'm a little queasy with that statement. Bitcoin pump coming. Feel stupid, Ernie? No. Why would I feel? I've said that anytime there's a pump, you shall short it. Short every rally. It is the most sane thing to do. Mr. Potato Head remember that from my youth? Yes, I do. I had a Mr. Potato Head. I think I got one for Christmas, maybe when I was 6 or 7, maybe 8, somewhere around there. But I remember Mr. Potato Head. Adam says, he said it would go up. Okay, so look, there's a little misunderstanding. I'm gonna lay out my cryptocurrency outlook so you can understand. I'm gonna say this one more time. We're gonna be in a bear market for a long time. And the reason for that is that the economy, the culture simply is not ready for decentralized crypto, decentralized ledger-based applications. Simply not ready. Doesn't mean that there won't be a smaller market for it. I believe there will, but it won't be mainstream for quite some time. And right now, it's on a huge lull. There is a dearth. There is the lowest volatility, the lowest participation across the board. Most people think that it's, right with fraud, and it is right with fraud. Scams, Ponzi schemes, outright fraud. And people are not willing to take that chance. Bitcoin right now is vastly overvalued. And for that reason, Wall Streeters simply will not touch it. They will not touch it because there is no regulatory scrutiny around it. None of these things are going to change while we have all these shit coins out there and all these fraudsters. So Bitcoin must die in order for it to live. Crypto must die in order for it to live. There's simply no way around that. And the whales are starting to get that. Anyways, I believe that this bear market's going to last for at least 12 to 18 months minimum, perhaps longer. And there's going to have to be a huge drop in price to flush things out, just blood in the streets, guts, impalement, eyeballs, blood from the eyes and ears, dead, before it can resurrect itself. That's going to happen. Now, there may be pumps from time to time. You may see some of these pumps happening and they get pulled back almost immediately. So my general strategy right now is to short using futures, not in regulated futures like from the CME or the CBOE, not those BitMEX crap futures or any other futures, which are total bullshit because you can't get in and get out. Using CME futures, I will short every rally. I'll short every friggin' rally until it fucking hurts. It's not going to hurt for a long time. And I've been saying that for the past 12 months, 9 months. Actually, even before that, before futures even came online, I was saying that. So now here's the other part of my strategy. If Bitcoin gets below 4,000, I have a plan for accumulating from 4,000 to 1,000. I do not hold any hope for anything above that. I am in the same camp as most Wall Streeters that are not stupid enough to purchase something so unbelievably overvalued that could drop 80% again. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Ain't happening, Captain. Ain't happening. That is my position on Bitcoin. Now, can it be something big sometime in the future? Sure. And I think that there is a high likelihood that somewhere along the line, whether it's Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency or a set of cryptocurrencies with a decentralized governance model, which Bitcoin does not have, although it could evolve into that, and also decentralized ledgers used in a wide variety of business models may also evolve, but we're way far away from that. There is no sane CEO out there in the Fortune 100, 1,000, or anything that can figure out how to make that work within the context of their business right now. Simply is not going to happen anytime soon. That is my assessment. That is a very learned, experienced assessment. All right. So now, Mr. Trad and Adam, maybe your fight has been answered. That is my That is my position. It has always been my position. I've explained it exactly the same way every time. Mr. Tread, MJ up 4%. Potheads rejoicing. Not yet. It is not a good time yet to invest in pot stocks. Not yet. 4% is nothing. I expect to see it's just a dead cat bounce after that bubble popped. I expect it to go down much further, down below 25 before. I mean, right now, even those companies that have lost huge valuation are still grossly overvalued. And I'm sure that there are many referendums across the country today that are, and I don't know which ones they are, but I'm sure that they're out there that are going to switch to legalization of some sort, either medical legalization or outright medical and recreational, like there is in my state, where medical and recreational marijuana is legal. And very generous legalities around it, too. And I'm sure most of you know what those are behind the scenes. Right? So you know that I am a proponent. And all of you know the story of Neo, my dog, who had cancer, who is in the process of being cured from cancer, if not already cured, through the administration of Rick Simpson oil, which I make myself. Yeah, I love the description of the crypto bloodbath, too. Impalement, guts spewing, blood in the streets. It's awesome. It's an awesome visual because that's what it is. When is Hashgraph coming out? Hashgraph is out. Where the fuck have you been, Mr. Trad? You come here just to troll or something? Robert Leonardo, I believe. Robert, I don't know if we've seen you before, but welcome. Oh, yes, we have. The apocalyptic argument for a BTC rise is that the fiat-run stock market crashes due to the massive debt here in the States and around the world. Then investors flow to BTC, perhaps backed by gold. That's such a bullshit story. That's a fucking wet dream of the cryptomaniacs. That's all that is. It's a wet dream. That's what they dream of every night. They wake up and go, oh my God, are we in Bitcoin now? Bitcoin world. It's just unbelievable. Bitcoin, like gold, goes down during deflationary crashes. No, I doubt it. It has no correlation with gold or anything else. Arakara, how you doing? Hey, Ernie. AI trade signal to go long Apple. So do we wait for the target to hit 195? Yeah. Well, you know the rules. Arakara, you know the rules. The rules are that it comes within striking distance of the target or the entry target, and then you do what it says to do. That's the rule. Now, we also know that our entries and our targets are all statistically based, and so there's a level of probability around them. And you know that we target that level of probability around a 1 standard deviation or around 70% likelihood that that's where the entry or the target should be. So you use that knowledge, knowing that, hey, look, I can be very, stick up my ass type and just say, I will not take that trade unless, even if it's just 1 penny away or 1 tick away from that, will not take that trade. That's stupid. If it's that close, you take the trade. If it comes within some statistical range, probably a good idea to take the trade. Yes, I recognize that. I just had to, what I'm saying is Robert Leonardo, I just had to sort of roll it back in my head. Adam says, it's foolish to think money will flow into crypto during a fiat market crash. It's not going to happen because there won't be any money to flow into it. Why would people during a crash say, oh, yeah, let's put it into crypto because that's where my money's safe? Fuck. What kind of fucking retard would think that? Jesus Christ. Stock market is going to 40K, Bitcoin to 100K. No. No. Next year, no. Arakara. And how long do we wait for that? More than a day? Arakara, where have you been for the rules? You know what the rules are stated in every single email that you get. That the calls, the entries, those setups are only good for the session that they're announced for. That's all they're good for, that session. And then we give it 4 sessions to reach the target. That's kind of like a time stop. All right? Those are the rules. They haven't changed. They've always been that. They'll always be that. And in fact, that is how the AI, that's some of its own internal set of rules that it follows. Right? That's the window of opportunity that it's looking at. It's got like blinders on like this, and it's looking at these things. And then when it sees one of these things, it says, huh, report that to Ernie and company. You're welcome. Arakara says, yes, sorry, I see that now. Thanks, bro. Welcome, bro. So Mr. Trad says, Ernie is fishing for bottoms. Just salty he missed the boat when BTC was a few $100. Jesus. You're a bad troll, by the way. You just a bad troll. But Bitcoin now, when it goes to 100K, who cares if you bought it 6K or 3K? Of course not. No one would care if you bought it 6K or 10K if it goes to 100K. And that is the dream. And that's what you're trying to sell. You're trying to sell that snake oil to unsuspecting, to desperate traders. Those desperate traders, what they should do is that they should subscribe to the AI setups, because there's no desperation, there's no hope there. Mr. Trad, your strategy is hope, and hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. You pump Bitcoin 24/7. That's great for you. Unfortunately, it doesn't work here, because most of the people that watch this channel are steeped in logic and reason and critical thinking. And your type of trash, your hackneyed, trite, pumping, trolling bullshit is filtered immediately by all the smart people that watch this show. Adam says holders are going to get wrecked. They've already been wrecked. It's just a now amounts to how much pain that they can endure, how much bloodletting they can allow. And that's an empty argument, by the way. It's worked every time. 5 crashes in the past only to come back and bubble up. Empty argument. Completely different situation this time. Completely different market. Completely different exposure. Everything about it is different. Everything about it is different. I missed the boat. I didn't miss any boat. I am very happy with AI setups. I don't know why you're commenting so much there. Where is everybody else? Come on, join in with the conversation. Hit those like buttons. Hit the like button. Share this video. Tell your friends. Yeah, it's different this time, all the skeptics have said. What is the current success rate, T Minor asks, of the AI setups? The long-term success rate. I've been showing these setups on the web and in the Discord now since the beginning of the year. And I would say the success rate is somewhere around 82%, I believe, right now. And but the success rate doesn't even tell half the story. I mean, that's a phenomenal success rate, but the really great part about it is the return on capital that you get, and then the built-in risk management because of this philosophy of multiple non-correlated strategies. So 80%, 80 to 85% success rate or win rate or profitability rate, and an average return on capital, and that the capital that you use to put on the trade. That's the amount of buying power that you use of minimum. Well, I would say I report 25%, but it is way more than that. But in general, it's we like to report 25% return on capital for each trade. So that's friggin' awesome. That is friggin' awesome. We're going to be going a lot further with this, and we're going to show people sometime in the future how they can run, such a system or make use of such a system themselves. But that's way down the line. So Mr. Trad, I guess, is a professional troller. I thought we had some kind of limit on the number of successive comments that you could make here. It's really. I never have to work again while Ernie grinds it out on lightweight stock trading. You don't know crap. I haven't worked like, a job where you go to the job in almost 20 years. I come and go as I please. I do what I want. I do this because it's fun. I do this because I love doing it. That's why I do this. I live in a beautiful area, beautiful home, one of the most exclusive areas in Massachusetts, lots of property. I don't have any sleeping habits because I have nothing to get up for. Well, the only thing I really have to get up for is to do this at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Play pool, do what I want. And I don't believe for a minute that you are independent, Mr. Trad. Otherwise, you wouldn't be out here trolling. James Push. Any trades in U.S. equities today from embodiment? Yes, there are. I'm not so sure that there's an Apple and an Amazon trade, but it doesn't appear to me that either of those are going to hit their setups. And so I'm going to put those out there right now. I'll show you. They're both buys. So we have Apple in the upper right-hand corner. And the lower right-hand corner, we have Apple and Amazon. And you can see this little line here. That's where the setup is. So both of them would have to come down to that line, and then it's a buy. So on Apple, it's a little bit above 195, and for Amazon, it's about 1565. Those are the equity setups for today from the embodiment. The equity setups are fewer and far between. I would say that we probably have about 10 a week, and maybe 30% of them actually set up. The futures setups, we probably have, 20 a week. And I would say 60% of them set up, something like that. Arakara is asking, hey, Ernie, what is BO? So BO is one of the setups. BO, now all the tickers come from TradeStation because we have, that's what my partner uses. And then I provide a spreadsheet to everybody that has a cross-reference so that you can look on Thinkorswim or Interactive Broker and you can see what the equivalent ticker is. So BO is actually soybean oil. And soybean oil, in the upper left-hand corner, this is that setup. It came pretty close, maybe not close enough for some people to get into for a short today. But you can see on Thinkorswim, it's actually ZL. And the same thing on Interactive Broker, ZL. That's soybean oil. And that was a short today. And it doesn't look like that's setting up. Joe B says, I'm 55. I work weekends, trade during the week, believes inflation and oil will go wild in the next few years, basically raising costs on all average people. And what makes you believe that, Joe B? Why do you believe inflation will go wild and oil will go through the roof? Why could that be? I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Arakar, and then NG. NG is natural gas. That's the natural gas futures. So Joe Push, okay. So, okay, you're saying okay. Mr. Trad, when is gold going to pump? I want to unload that garbage now that BTC is. Everything for you is in terms of Bitcoin. Mark Burbot. Hello, Ernie. Just woke up. How are you today? I'm doing great. I fell asleep in my chair last night, and I woke up around 7 this morning. Damn. That happens. All right, let's get back. Get back. Going to get back. Back in the saddle again. I've often wondered, when a lot of the trades, when they hit their trigger, as soon as they hit that trigger, then they tend to reverse. And I'm wondering sometimes, what are the odds? What percent of time does a trade then reverse once it's hit its target? And that'd be an interesting study to do. And whether or not it would make sense then, once you get out of that trade, take your profit, would it make sense to then reverse the trade? Because I've seen that many times, but I don't know, that's kind of anecdotal. I don't really know what the number of times, the actual percentage is, but it seems to happen a lot. And especially on something like heating oil, man, you could have made another 50% just by reversing the trade. That would have been very cool. So we'll see if that happens. Again, if you're interested, we have these embodiment trades are futures, Forex, and equities. If you're afraid of futures, don't be. There are alternatives that you can use for futures. You can use ETFs, and I talk about those. So you could treat the futures. They're much easier to trade. If you're not familiar with futures, you can trade with the ETFs, and you can use options to trade those and basically get the same kind of leverage, and also with defined risk added into the mix. So that might be a really great way for somebody to go. And I provide a sheet that shows all the equivalent ETFs that you could use for some of the futures. So you may want to consider that. Mark Burbod, do you often place trades without stop losses? Always. I never use stop losses, ever. Well, that's not true. I use what some people might call catastrophic stop losses. So with any position or set of positions, I have what I consider a catastrophic stop loss within a certain period of time. For me, for my accounts, well, depending on which account, it could be anywhere from 2 to 5%. So if a single trade loses 2 to 5% of my total account value, I'll cut it off. But that's not anywhere close to where the targets are or where the entry is. I mean, a trade would have to go way, way, way off base. Now, for a smaller account, 2 to 5% might not work. Catastrophic loss in a much smaller account, let's say a $10,000 account, might be 10%. You know, they don't happen that often. I would say, well, maybe 1 out of 50 trades becomes a catastrophic stop loss. We've had 2 of those type of trades in the last 50 trades, so I don't expect to have another one for a while. Don't be afraid of BitMEX, 100-to-1 leverage, Bitcoin. You know how, that is just sad. BitMEX. Why would I do that when I can be in a regulated market like the CME, do 40 to 50 times leverage, and it's regulated, and I can get in and get out in a second, and then cash in a second, immediately, money in my account, immediately. And regulated, I have counterparty risk handled by the biggest exchange in the world, almost $30 trillion. Why would I trade bullshit BitMEX where most people can't even get their money out and I have to wait 24 hours for settlement potentially? Why would I do that? I mean, that's suicide. It is perhaps the weakest argument that you've actually come up with, Mr. Troll, Trad. As dirt as the bull market is starting for Bitcoin. No, it isn't. Sorry. Bull market. So it went up 200 points. So that's a bull market. It hasn't even reached my pump limit. It has to go up at least 300 points for it to short. That is not. You're all in Bitcoin. That's really sad. That is really, really sad that you would put that much faith in bullshit and fraud and crap. Feel bad for you. I've had, as dirt equals smart money, earning equals dumb money, except that I make money, as dirt doesn't, not with that strategy. So, anyhow, if you're watching this video after it was a live stream, how can you short it if you have no Bitcoin anymore? Gotcha. That's bullshit. I mean, how can I short it? I short it through the futures. The futures is a cash market. I can short it anytime I want. If you don't understand the concept of cash market futures, then you don't understand markets. I'm not waiting for one. Man, the trolls are so heavy duty today. And there's only really one troll. Very unusual that we get trolls here. Very, very unusual. When I had my old channel and I had tens of thousands of followers, I had a lot of trolls. And, but they were okay. They were stupid, like you. But they were okay. I don't get that many trolls these days. When Bitcoin moons, your channel will boom too. No. My channel was going up when Bitcoin was going down. And my channel was very old, and then it finally started to kick it up. That was because it had, 1,100 videos and great content. And then I started doing more regular posting, and that's really why. Matthew B. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Burbot. And Matthew B., can you talk a little bit about cash market futures? Well, that just means that they settle in cash. There are some things that just don't make sense to settle in anything else. That's not necessarily why it's a cash market, but it just might be that way. Because delivery is unattainable or whatever, or there is no physical commodity to deliver like in index futures. But essentially, it is cash settlement. That means that instead of taking delivery of the actual commodity when a contract expires, you basically cash out for the cash equivalent of what that is. So that's what a cash market future is. Now, a lot of people think that cash market futures can't affect the underlying market, and they'd be wrong. They'd be dead wrong. As a matter of fact, most cash market futures, and there's been times when we've had both cash and the physical commodity, most cash market futures actually have a greater effect on the physical, the spot price of the underlying commodity than even a physical delivery futures. I know that may be hard for some of you to understand. However, that is the fact. That is a fact. You can go research it yourself. I am a futures expert. You can believe me, but I don't, using logic, reason, and critical thinking, I would not ask you to do that. I would ask you to go research yourself, and you will find that there have been studies where many believe that cash market or cash settled futures actually have a greater impact in terms of pricing on the spot market, the underlying spot market, than physical delivered futures. Not always. It really depends on the market, but in general, that is the truth. So where some people are making this argument that, well, because it doesn't deliver Bitcoin, that it will never have an impact on the market. See, that's not true. Because the people who are actually using the futures, they are hedging their business, such as miners. Miners are hedging with the regulated futures, which are cash. They are, and so they are trading it alongside Bitcoin. They're using it to hedge their business. The whales are using it to hedge their positions. All right, so hopefully that answers your question about cash market. So now Mr. Tad is getting into name calling and false equivalencies, saying I'm a fraud since I don't believe in Elliott wave, the gold standard of TA. So not only are you a troll, but you're a stupid troll. Hey, Hayseed, how you doing? Is Hayseed imbibing today or not? Roy says, buy low, sell high. So Hayseed is not imbibing today. He was very apologetic the other day for thinking that he went off on me, but I just want you to know that I have a very thick skin, and there's virtually nothing that you can say or do that will set me off. And anytime you see me getting excited and yelling at somebody or calling them names like a fucktard or something, that is within complete control of my faculties. I do that for your benefit. Asder, it says, speculate on food futures and increase the price of food in Africa and cause starvation. Great. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're saying there, but good thought, I guess. Well, hey, see it. I'm glad you're feeling better. Ernie is too easy to trigger. No, so you don't understand. I don't get triggered. It is all an act for your benefit. There's nothing you could trigger me on. What can you do to hurt me? Nothing. Now, if you did something physical to me, then I'd be on your ass. Then I'd be triggered. May use a trigger. And I hope YouTube doesn't hear that. Anyways, this show is getting a little long in the tooth. I want to thank everybody, even the trolls, for showing up today. I was very glad and happy to take your comments and talk to you, and I hope we can do it again. We'll see you next time. Take care.